Hello, everyone. I am very grateful for this opportunity to share part of the work that we have done within different artistic communities in Mexico and other countries. I am a Mexican artist, mediator, curator, whose practices have developed in an intertwined way, with threads from different fields, from the performing arts and the visual arts, their crosses and intermediations. I have been the cultural manager, director, and curator of Agita y Sirva Screen Dance Touring Festival since 2008. In this lecture, I will speak from my research I made in the Art History Master's degree at UNAM, la Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México, which I completed in 2019. However, this research began several years before, still continues, and I hope it will continue developing. In that frame, I worked from the perspective of intermediality, or the intermedial studies, and performativity, or the performative studies, accompanied by Vidán Weekend Trejo, David Gutiérrez Castañeda, and Elia Espinosa. My research on screen dance has led me to expand the possibilities of these notions to a broader medium, which I call choreocinema. Choreocinema as a wave of transmedia notions. Choreocinema as a malleable medium. Choreocinema como medio en devenir. Choreocinema as intermedial inscriptions, as a living network of enunciation and composition for creation, study, and experience. As a theoretical and practical conceptual framework. As a medial transit that assumes constant movements, instabilities, and impossibility of fixations, as an open, communal, rhizomatic, non-hierarchist, indisciplinary, antidisciplinary field. I propose conceptual approaches more than definitions to choreocinema and to screen dance. We call choreocinema a field that involves the mutual contamination and enrichment of resources of choreography, movement, and film video as a transit between these media, transforming them at their intersections and proposing new relational notions. In the choreocinematic image, a triadic composition of medial interweaving occurs. It is a sound, a visual, and a choreographic image at the same time. In this research, we propose 10 hybrid notions for creation, study, and experience of choreocinematic pieces with different outputs. One of them is screen dance. With screen dance, we refer to the inscriptions of movement, choreography, and dance in the moving image as a screen medium, beyond a specific support or material. By experimenting, practicing, and reflecting on the screen dance phenomenon, I returned to the term choreocinema in 2017. I returned to it from the provocation performed by the experimental choreocinematic short film by Maya Deren and Talib Beatty, a study in choreography for camera, towards John Martin, who names choreocinema to that new art form in a New York Times article in 1946. From the intermediate studies approach, emphasis is placed on the modes of production, the processes, and the support apparatus, giving great importance to the materiality and movement of the media at stake. Here I present the constellation of fields, media, and notions at stake when approaching this research. These fields are choreography, kinetics and kinematics, cinematography, dance, narrative, teatralidad, dramaturgy. These media are cinema, video, sound, camera, body, dance, choreography. Some of the notions are medium, gesture, writing, inscription, absence, presence, dancidad, convivio, tecnovideo, memory, archive. In the genealogy and conceptualization around screen dance to which I would like to contribute, the perspectives from Paulo Caldas, Alexandre Veras, Brazilian artists, researchers, curators, Douglas Rosenberg, among others, I take into account the notions of writing and inscription based on philosopher Jacques Derrida's considerations regarding communication and nonverbal communication, corporal gestures, movements, and actions as signs of possible writings. A movement, a gesture, an action can be recognized and repeated, even if the absence of the body that emits or emitted them, and even in the absence of any meaning or intention. Dance, choreography, and kinetics as types, species of writings. We consider the fields choreography, kinetics, kinematics, and dance in their relation to the inscription of the movement, gesture, or action of a body, whether or not it is a human body and in presence or relative absence. I consider this inscription as a certain event or acontecimiento, a becoming or devenir, a writing in space-time, which in screen dance is supported by the video medium and occurs in motion during its execution and reproduction. In choreocinema, these inscriptions occur in the corresponding materiality. The convivial space-time in the case of the live or scenic choreography of present bodies, and the choreocinematic technovivial space-time in the case of kinechoreography, the choreography for the screen. We have verified that each process, each piece offers its own conceptual approach, its own methods, and its iterable marks for this field in relation. I remember the agreements and codes that dancers, videographers, filmmakers, choreographers, sound and digital artists, among others, co-elaborate during the production process in order to co-create. This research is an attempt to start building a possible with a toolbox of notions as a starting point and inspiration for screen dance and for the choreocinematic field. We consider these notions as instruments or tools that keep open, porous, and restless the status of the choreocinematic medium. Notions that allow screen dance and the choreocinematic to maintain their theoretical and practical opening, their nomadism, their instability, and their experimental nature. These are the notions I present and that I developed in the research in Spanish and English. Espacio coreocinemático, choreocinematic space, tiempo fílmico, filmic time tempo, cuerpos e imaginarios corporales, bodies and corporal imaginaries, kinecoreography, cinecoreografía, narrativa corporal, corporal narrative, imagen sonora, sound image, puesta en videodanza, mise en screen dance, cuerpo cámara, body camera, coreografía de la mirada, choreography of the gaze, y montaje coreocinemático, choreocinematic montage. By developing these notions, pieces that record a time appear. They make a construction of time appear, and they do so each time in intermediate position between the fictional and the documentary, despite the marked tendency to oppose screen dance to the audiovisual recording of dance. The choreocinematic medium could present formats beyond screen dance as stage, installation, expanded cinema, video mapping pieces, among others. Screen dance, video art, video poem, video performance, video creation, expanded cinema, mapping, installation, immersive and virtual experiences, etc., as formats, forms, techniques, or means of exhibition in the choreocinematic field. In my written research, I developed each of these notions in the company of different contemporary screen dance pieces, which dialogue choreographically, soundly, and visually with the notions. At the moment, this work is available in Spanish for free download. Meanwhile, we continue to explore its theoretical and practical possibilities. Thank you.
Can you hear me, Ximena? Okay, thank you so much. I feel like this is somehow the perfect way to end our day. Maybe, okay, I can see. I'll ask the audience if there's questions for you. Are there questions for Ximena? I think so. I see Pamela. You want to come talk to the mic? So that the people will ask questions directly to the microphone, and then Kel will convey questions from the chat also. Thank you.
Hello, Ximena. Thank you for this. It seems really expansive and astonishing, like the scope of all of this. So thank you. I wanted to ask more about the concept you named choreo cinematic montage, just because I think it's the only one that didn't immediately like click in my head as like, ah, yes, I understand. So I was hoping you could explain more about this concept and maybe, I mean, give an example if you could, or at least unpack it a little. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sure. We know the last choreographic stage in screen dance is editing, video editing, or montage. And this word is very interesting because it can be used also in the scenic art and also in the visual arts in the exhibition realm. This is like the last stage, right? So choreocinematic montage has to do with in screen dance, this last stage of the last choreographic stage, or the digital choreography we make finishing a screen dance or other kind of choreocinematic piece. So I've been, of course, searching about the research from Karen Perlman, Priscilla Guy in this sense, and it has to do, if we talk for screen dance, with the editing video material and the finalization of a screen dance piece, but also the final stage of finishing a visual arts exhibition or performatic live piece. So I hope it responds.
Do you have a Zoom ready?
There's no questions so far.
Okay.
Just thank yous.
Are there other questions in the room here? We're waiting for Zoom from the chat. Oh, Marisa.
Thank you for that. That was really kind of incredible to listen to, because it feels like you're opening a lot of doors. And I wondered if you were thinking about who you were opening those doors for when you were parsing those terms, because they were fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a very maybe obsessive approach to expand screen dance. And during my master's degree research, I found this, kind of need to open screen dance. Maybe because of my background, but also thinking about the the circulation between arts and perspectives. So I opened this choreocinematic field, and I think I applied this field in experiences that are not necessarily screen dance or only for screen dance, right? The one recent example is an exhibition I curated last year, which I found applications of these notions, thinking about the crossings from perspectives that also includes dramaturgy, for example, or narrative, and absence, presence of images, bodies, objects. So I think it's helpful, and also I think this field is present, right? I remember one of the contributions Alexander Veras made some years ago, and you mentioned it in this symposium, Douglas, about thinking in a cinema or even in an art history from this perspective, right? From maybe choreocinematic studies. That would be very, very fantastic for me, I think. So yeah, I open this field to any kind of artists and disciplines, or I like to yeah, of course, broke limitations and barriers and specializations. No, that's the aim also of the intermediate studies.
I think what you were just mentioning from me was actually a quote from Alana Thane, Professor Thane in Montreal, about why can't we think of the whole of history of cinema as screen dance history. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah. There's a couple things I'll read to you from the chat. There's a lot. I see applause. I see from Maria. What's Maria's last name? I forgot. I'm sorry, but it'll come to me. From Maria, Brava Ximena, thank you, gracias. From Silvina Sperling, gracias Ximena, brava. From Dominique Rivois, there's a question. I wonder if you could speak about the new relational notions that have come from your research.
Thank you, Dominique. It was very difficult for me to synthesize this presentation because I have the I present with what I did, or I developed the notions, right? Because it's a very short time. So, in fact, this is like all the length of the research. So, these notions I have been working in them, not by my own, in a very, very big community of workshops and discussions, tallereándolas, like workshopping them. And yeah, I would love to share more, but like it's a very brief time. So also I hope that I have an English translation of my research soon.
There's actually one more question. Ximena. Oops. And that would be from Jeanette. And she asks, do you not think that editing already starts in the filming process, a bit like thinking on your feet?
Yes, sure. I think in practicing screen dance or video dance, is always a possibility to edit at the same time as we film, or just seconds after. And also in film production, we plan, or they plan, every single shot, thinking in editing, right? So in fact, this is a very important resource, I think, students and new artists to screen dance to consider editing process from the beginning.
Okay, so is there anything else for Ximena before we start to transition to the next thing? Well, if you can just stay with us for a minute, Ximena, and the people who are on Zoom on the chat also. I just want to invite anybody, if there's anything that anybody wants to say before we transition away from the streaming part of the conference and a place where people might eat and relax a little bit. Is there anything anybody wants to add on the microphone to everyone who's on Zoom and to Ximena also before we move on? about anything that happened in the last few days? Here we go. Okay. Here comes Claudia.
Is this a moment where we're losing the Zoom audiences, basically?
Everyone.
Are we doing something downstairs?
Yes, the Zoom will be done after this.
Oh, it's done after this.
Yeah, we're saying goodbye
Oh.
to the streaming part of our.
Okay. Well, in which case, I think this is a good moment to thank you, Doug,
Oh.
for creating this space and for being such an amazing advocate for this art form for so long.
Everyone, thank you. Thank you.